Do as much as you can today. Why? Because that's all you can do. I feel like we let the stress of the world kind of take over our minds and we lose track of what the actual objective is. We let tomorrow's problems be today's problems, but we haven't even experienced tomorrow's problems. When I look back on my life and I think about all the stress that really and truly I created in my mind, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I feel like if I don't get something done, that I'm not progressing my life forward. Like I could do 8 things out of 10 for the day that I wanted to get done, but if I don't do the last 2, that's what I harp on. I feel like the quality of our life really starts with how we like to perceive our life to be. Anything that didn't get done today was meant to be undone. But there's always tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? The reason I made this video is because I think that, well, I've been struggling a lot with being gentle with myself, having compassion and understanding for my life, because I really want the most out of life. And I think that too much of my life depends on how much I get done. And if I don't get everything done that I wanted to get done, I look on the day as an L or a failure. But that's not the case, because sometimes I did all that I could. Energy-wise, mentally-wise, spiritually-wise. I feel like I let my thoughts or my inadequacy with just like where I'm at in my life sort of take over the simple fact that, you know, just because I didn't get everything that I wanted to get done today doesn't mean that today was a failure. I still got a lot done today. And I think when we start to focus more and more on what we get done versus what we don't, I think that's when we start to tack on one more thing, because we start to say like, damn, it felt good getting that one thing done. Oh shit, I got more time to do this, you know? And you as a viewer, if you stumbled upon this video, I want you to understand that all you have is today. Let tomorrow be tomorrow. Let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems. But right now, take the time and take the initiative to get done what you want to get done. But I think there has to be a certain level of grace and understanding with what it is we want to get done and what we actually get done. In today's world, we like to put the people who are considered the workhorses of the world on a pedestal, because it seems as though that they get everything done. But what we fail to realize is that really and truly, when we look back on our lives, or if we were to really take a magnifying glass and look at everything that they do throughout the course of the day, I'm sure there's a lot that they don't get done. But I think the difference between somebody who actually, you know what I'm saying, wants to get something done, somebody who has gotten a lot of stuff done, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Somebody who's gotten a lot of stuff done versus somebody who doesn't, is that they're able to understand that just because I have 24 hours in the day doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I'm immune to falling short on a couple of things. And that also doesn't mean that it will never get done. For instance, like, I have this thing where I want to make a video every single day. And sometimes, well, at least in the past, I've over-identified with that version of me, because I know that version of me is going to get me to, or lead me to the version of me that I aspire to be. But I become overly identified with that version of me, so much so that when I don't shoot a video, I beat myself up. Another thing that I do, which I'm going to stop doing, is my weight. In my earlier videos, I talk about how, and I'm not crazy out of shape, however, I do want to be in better shape. I like to beat myself up over the simple fact that I gained a pound, even though the week before I lost 7, you know? And I started developing an unhealthy relationship with food, where I would look at it like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I failed, or I didn't get that thing done. And I start to over-identify with the fact that, well, I'm gonna be this version of me because I'm not seeing a constant incline in the right direction. But that's the thing about life. Goes up, what goes up must come down. Sometimes you'll plateau, but that doesn't mean that you ultimately aren't making progress or you won't reach your goal. You know what I'm saying? I think all we can do is really just focus on the day. Because 10 years from this day, 10 years from now, will still feel like the same 24 hours that we got today. And I think the thing that we have to start doing more of is to give ourselves the permission to be calm within our body and trust that even though I don't get everything that I want to get done today done, doesn't mean that tomorrow I won't be able to. Now, how can we optimize our day to really make sure that we're doing all that we can? I think something that's good to start out is scheduling out your day. I feel like that's something that we really do take for granted. But if you look at your work or your job, you follow a schedule. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you follow a schedule, and this is what you have to do. Now it's a lot harder to do it for yourself, but we are creatures of habit. What we tend to do more of starts to feel like, this is just what I do now. Take shooting videos, for instance. I started telling myself when I get off work, I have to shoot a video. Regardless to how good the idea is, I just want to get in the habit of creating. Same thing with making songs, same thing with making content. Everything that I want to get done, I just say, okay, this is what I have to do. And I'll do as many things that I can do. Because let's face it, sometimes we don't have the energy to get everything that we want to get done. But that doesn't mean that the day was a failure, because you have to focus on the positive and let go of the negative. The more you start to associate with the negative thoughts, the more crippling it feels and a lot harder it feels to get stuff done, because you have this unhealthy relationship with productivity. I have a lot of friends that struggle with that, where if they don't get one thing done, then they just start to say, well, you know what? If I don't get this done, then nothing will get done. And ultimately, nothing gets done. And then they get upset and they just kind of lay in bed and kind of like mope and stuff like that. And I used to be the same way, where I would wake up and be like, damn, I'm not where I want to be. What can I do? And if I don't see progress right then and right now, I started to say, you know what? Fuck it. Why even bother? But things take time. And I think that it's very important for us to understand the power of delayed gratification, which makes it a lot easier, and it takes a lot of the stress off of, having to get everything done in one day. I think the biggest thing to take away from this video is that we have to be gentle with ourselves. We have to trust that if we don't get something done, it was for a good cause. Maybe we needed a break. Maybe we needed to relax. Maybe we just didn't feel like doing it. I feel like ultimately when your heart is in the right place and you understand fully why it is you're not doing something, whether you get it done or you don't, you'll be fine. You know? This man, can't leave this guy alone for 2 seconds without him trying to eat grass or something. Man, I feel really good today. I didn't even know what today's topic was gonna be, because I just have notes of video topics and I just kind of let them be whatever they are. But we're hovering around the 10-minute mark, so I want to wrap this up. Hopefully the point got across, but do as much as you can today. That's all you can do. Don't try and overcomplicate things and I think that's also another thing that is very difficult, is that we have these goals and we have this, big idea of, man, how am I gonna get all this work done? But I think when you really simplify it and break it up into days, it starts to feel like less work. And over time, it compiles into like, oh my God, like for instance, if you wanted to learn to play the piano, and you want to have it mastered, and you just have this version of yourself where it's like, okay, I want to master the piano. All you have to do is play the piano 1 to 2 hours a day. Not even that long. After a year, you'll be a lot better than you were a year before. 2 years, 3 years, and then 10 years from now, it'll be like, damn. I remember that version of myself that initially just wanted to start to play the piano, but all it took was just making the conscious decision, like, okay, all I have to do is just set aside 1 hour and get an hour better. And when you start to simplify your task and your goals in that way of how can I do this within the day and make it reasonable, it makes it a lot easier. And it makes it a lot easier to get more done because you simplify it. So I think another thing to tack on with doing as much as you can today is trying to simplify your life as best you can, because the more simple your life is, the easier it is to make sense of everything, and you don't feel the pressure of just like the complications of how do I get this done. I live a very simple life. I go to work, I come home, create content, create music, create videos, and put it out. Everything else will ultimately take care of itself, because I have trust in God that as long as my heart is in the right place and I know ultimately where it is I see myself, everything that I desire will find its way to me naturally. And I think that's the mindset that you got to have as well, where you just have to have the belief, but along with the belief, the action has to be there, and having grace and gratitude with where you're at and what you get done, and even with what you don't get done, because that will ultimately lead your life to a much more happier, peaceful, and self-gratifying life. Okay? That's about it. That's all I have for you guys today. I feel very relaxed right now. I think because I really got a lot done today. It was just funny that that's the topic of today's video, but I did get a lot done and I'm really happy about it. So, but yeah, if you made this far in the video, I want to say thank you all so much. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Until next time, peace.